Imagine getting paid $1,000 or more every month by simply owning a stock, not doing anything else. That's what dividend investing can do for you. Hi, guys. My name is Bo. I'm a Chicago based stock market investor. I invest long term. I've been investing for the last 3 years. I manage 3 portfolios of my own: retirement, house, and car. And I explain investing on my channel, so make sure to subscribe and stick around if you're into that. In this 10-minute video, I will break down the difference between growth stocks and dividend stocks. I will give you examples of 12 dividend paying stocks and show you how you can invest so that you earn $1,000 per month in passive income from owning dividend stocks. So let's go. First of all, what are dividend stocks and how they are different from growth stocks? I have a video here that explains how to analyze stocks in general, but you also need to know that stocks are split into many different types, and the main two categories are growth and dividend stocks. Here are two good examples: Apple, which is a growth stock, and Coca-Cola, which is a dividend stock. Growth stocks grow their value price, aka appreciate, faster than the rest of the market. They don't pay or pay little dividends. Therefore, they generate less short-term income but higher capital gains in the future. That's why also growth stocks are considered better suited for long-term investors if you're like investing for 20 or 30 years, retirement, right? The easiest way to spot a growth stock is to see how much it has appreciated in the last 5 years, right here. So like Apple, a good example. If you see 100% plus return, that's definitely a growth stock. Also in Apple's example, by the way, look at here, it also pays dividend, but it's really small, so it does not really qualify to be a solid dividend stock, but it's a common thing actually for some stocks that are growth to pay a little dividend. Growth stocks perform best during the periods of bull markets, so growth, but they're also more volatile, meaning the price goes up and down much more often. And most common industries where you can find growth stocks are, of course, tech. You may be surprised to find them in many other industries too. More examples of growth stocks that I own are Amazon, Alphabet, Meta. Dividend stocks are complete opposite of growth stocks. The name is self-explanatory. These stocks, dividend stocks, pay higher than the market average dividend. Usually it's about 1%, but you will learn later that best dividend is like 3% plus. And here is where you're going to find the dividend yield in the stock quote. And dividend is a percentage of the price. So if the price is roughly $72 and the dividend is almost 3, then the dollar amount of the dividend will be 2. So you get paid $2 in dividend. But what matters is also how often the company pays dividends: quarterly, monthly, semi-annually, annually, once per year. So you have to keep that in mind too. Coca-Cola pays 3% dividend right here, almost 3. However, stocks like Coca-Cola, dividend stocks, they don't grow in price that much. See, it's really much lower price than Apple, for instance. If you click on 5-year return here, you will see that Coca-Cola appreciated much less than Apple in the last 5 years. So that's definitely not a growth stock. Dividend stocks perform best during bear markets because they're not as volatile and they don't experience such major price drops as growth stocks. And you can find dividend stocks in pharma, retail, consumer staples, energy, etc. Most common stocks that everybody knows are Procter & Gamble, Johnson & Johnson. But you also have to understand that companies can change their dividend yield percentage. So sometimes they stop paying dividends at all. Sometimes the dividend percentage decreases. Sometimes it increases. There is such thing as dividend aristocrats, which this is the list of them, and you can click in the link in the video description for a detailed list. Dividend aristocrats are companies who have been raising dividends consistently for many, many years. And you can look through them and see which ones you maybe would like to invest in or not. Second, why would you invest in dividend stocks? First of all, first and main reason is steady cash flow without selling, right? So to get money from a stock, income from a stock, you would need to sell it. But with the dividend stock, you don't need to sell it. Dividend gets paid out to you to your account balance, and you can either withdraw it or you can reinvest it. So buy more stocks with that money. Although you have to know you'll have to pay tax on dividends, so keep that in mind. And also dividend stocks are less volatile, right? So if you are close to retirement, but you still want to own stocks, it's best to change up the growth stocks to dividend stocks. So like sell growth stocks, buy dividend stocks, or just keep buying more dividend stocks right before the retirement, because dividend stocks, since they are less volatile, they preserve the value of your portfolio. They don't lose much during like dips and bear markets. Now, I also want to kind of go back and cover the tax part, and this info will only it relates only to the US residents, those who invest via standard brokerage account in the US and pay tax here. So if you live outside the US, please talk to your local accountant. In the US, you pay tax on dividends when you get them. Even if you reinvest them, use the money to buy new stocks. Unlike unrealized gains, you don't pay tax on unrealized gains, right? So with dividends, you still have to pay tax. However, there are two types of dividends, qualified and ordinary. When you get your 1099 from a standard brokerage, they will specify in that form how much you made in qualified and how much you made in ordinary dividends. So your CPA or you yourself will know. You don't have to calculate that yourself. On qualified dividends, you may have to pay slightly less tax, up to 20%. And on ordinary dividends, you will pay ordinary tax rate depending on your income. Here is an explanation what makes dividend qualified from my investing program, but you don't really need to know this since you will get the exact amount in your 1099. So don't think about it too much. Now, what are the stocks that you can invest in to get dividends paid out every month to you? This is the list. You can basically Google these, but how do you find out when exactly stocks pay dividends? Please research stocks, analyze them before investing in them. As you can see, different stocks, different dividend stocks pay different dividends. You can go higher, you can go lower. Always make your decision based on how financially stable the company is, though, not how high the dividend is, because you might invest in a high dividend stock that's not actually doing very well. Now, how do you find out when exactly stocks pay dividends? You can go to this website and see the calendar and look for the payment date, and it will also tell you the amount you will get paid out as a dividend if you own this one stock. You can also just Google this info for other stocks, though. So like this is not the only website to get this out of. So for instance, if I choose May 1st here, I see that these stocks will be paying dividends in May, and these are the dollar amounts of dividends they will pay on one stock. Let's open Casey's General Stores here. I don't own this stock, so please, this is not a financial advice. Research this stock, analyze its financial statements before you buy. You see that this stock's price currently, as of taking the screenshot, was $466, and the dividend yield is less than 1%. So dividend pay on this one stock at this price will be $2. So you can't live on $2 passive income. So that leads me to, how do you calculate how you can make $1,000 in dividends on a stock? Simple math, really. If you want to figure out how much to invest in this specific stock, Casey, to be paid $1,000 in dividends per year, you need to invest in it $232,558. That's a lot of money, okay? Also note that Casey's General Store pays dividends quarterly, not like every month. So you won't get 1,000 in May. You'll get like 250 once every 3 months per year if the stock price remains the same, and you will get 1,000 over a span of a year. And that's very little dividend, honestly, for the amount invested, which is why you want to seek out stocks that have much higher dividend yield. At least, I would say 3%, 4%, and more. Which leads me to, what if you want to get $12,000 of dividend income per year? So basically, $1,000 per month in dividends. First of all, decide what average dividend yield you will be picking stocks for. Let's say you will be investing in stocks that pay around 4% annual yield on average. That means to get $12,000 per year, if you pick stocks with an average 4% dividend yield, you will need to have invested $300,000 across those different stocks. So you need portfolio size of $300,000. But if you were to find stocks with 6% yield, then you'd only need to invest $200,000, so less. And that's really cool, but keep in mind that the higher the yield, the less investment needed. Always be cautious about stocks that pay much more yield, because those tend to be riskier. Companies might have shaky financial health. Dig deeper into it. Try to invest in different stocks also. Don't invest all 200,000 in one stock or 3 stocks. And the last part, really, how do you make passive income on dividends if you have a small amount of money invested, like 10,000? You can still start. Pick 4% average dividends, yield in stocks. For instance, 4% on 10K will be like $400 per year, $33 per month, which is not enough. Okay, we get it. But keep investing, keep depositing more money, and keep reinvesting the dividends. At one point, you will get to the amount that will allow you to get that $1,000 per month or even more in dividends. So there you go, a breakdown of growth versus dividend stocks, 12 different examples of dividend stocks, and a plan how you can get those $1,000 per month in dividends. Now, if you like this video, if you learned something new, please subscribe. There will be more investing explainers later, and comment below, what is your favorite dividend stock? What are you buying? Let me know.